welcome to episode 164 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
And me Margaret.
me Jack.
Hello. Who was it?
I don't know, somebody in the Discord.
Someone in the Discord. In one of the last episodes we did, we were talking about like metagaming, and you were like,
"Me Jack,
me
knows
Jack
something.
knows you Margaret. And they were like, I wanted to make a clip of you going,
me
Jack.
Margaret. Yeah,
me Jack. You Margaret.
Me Jack. You Margaret.
Me Margaret. YouTube doesn't allow clips longer than 5 seconds.
No.
Giving very me Tarzan, you Jane.
Yeah, me Tarzan, you Jane.
So me Margaret.
Me Jack.
You. Who you?
Who?
Who you? Who? Why you in my house?
Who are you?
That song used to really scare me.
Why?
It was
Why?
It was the opening song to one of the CSIs, and
Well, CSI Miami.
I actually think it might have been Miami. Honestly, one of the big one from the 90s, which I think probably was Miami, right?
Yeah.
And
Miami Vice.
I'm realizing in this moment a lot of themes used to scare me. Like, for example, X-Files.
X-Files things was a little creepy.
That's fair.
I think that's the point of it, isn't it?
But CSI Miami, that was the song. It still gives me goosebumps hearing it. And the CSI Miami one, I'll always remember an episode that I watched.
Yeah.
And it was I don't remember exactly what it was. But there was a baby that swallowed a fabric of hair.
Yeah.
And it really scared me.
A fabric of hair?
And there was something about a finger being stuck in a wall or something like that. I think maybe the finger was in the theme. Hey, scary. Hey,
you.
Hey, that scared me.
Hey, it scared me.
Hey, what about that? Hey, I'm scared.
Hey.
Are you scared?
Are you scared?
Good.
Boo.
Woo.
Scared now? Boo.
Hi.
What's happening?
Yeah, what are you up to? What are you doing? I got heartburn.
Anything else? This has been a delayed podcast.
How about you?
I don't have heartburn.
How are you doing?
Oh, apart from the lack of heartburn,
yeah,
pretty well. The fact that I don't have heartburn is making me quite happy, actually.
Nice.
I woke up today and I was like, I don't have heartburn. Today's a good day.
I had heartburn so bad last night.
I had a little bit of heartburn last night.
Like, and it's always when I sleep.
I think
right?
it didn't help that we had fried
chicken.
Yeah,
KFC. Literally.
And you ate some just before you went to sleep.
Just before I went to sleep. Yeah,
you were scranning gravy and KFC.
I was. And then at 2 a.m. I had a glass of milk as well.
I mean, that would help.
Yeah, milk would help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right?
Because milk's alkaline.
I don't know. It's dairy in it. I swore.
Oh no! I don't even have the thing ready.
Oh,
hey, look.
Hey,
look.
Hey.
I don't even have the thing ready.
It was about 3:48 on the timer.
I'm commenting. Oh no. I'm leaving editor's notes.
No.
No, I just want to edit this. You know what, Jack? You know how in one of the episodes before I was like, I should put this in a Word doc.
Yeah.
Because putting this in a spreadsheet on this iPad that is ancient is not good. What was the time?
3:48.
Thank you.
About.
I'll put it at 3:40 just in case.
Oh yeah, please. Please, if we subtract the minute off the time before it started and then you subtract 8 just because you feel like it, I'm sure I'll find it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The power of the deduction of the number 8.
Yeah. That'll help, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we told you everything that we're up to on Monday.
Because we're filming this before.
Yeah, we're filming this beforehand, but we will have told you everything, even though the urge to tell you everything right now is really real.
But
you've already heard it all. You've already heard it all. When is this coming out? 29th?
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. Are we about to take time off for WoW now?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
We'll have already taken a bit of time off.
Yeah.
We'll have taken Monday off.
Yes. No, Tuesday off for stream. I don't know.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what? We are so bad with working in timelines.
Because we film, because we film in, but like beforehand.
Yeah, in arrears. Not in arrears.
We film like prior to it coming out. It's not like day before. It's like week before.
Yeah.
So, man, it's tough.
Well, you know what? I know we will have said it on Monday's episode, but because we're filming this technically before Monday, thank you so much to everyone who congratulated us about the Crit Awards.
Yay!
Very, very, very much appreciated.
Very exciting.
We also will have mentioned this on Monday's episode.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know, we have been accepted as creators to MCM and EGX in Comic-Con in London in October.
And do you want to know what? It's cool for many reasons because, you know, we have been accepted as creators. Apparently, and we actually got knocked back last year. We got denied creator passes last year. They were like, we're knocking you back. We're denying you.
No, they were very politely like, hey, sorry, you weren't approved this time. Try again next time.
Yeah, and we did, and we got approved.
Yeah,
which feels, I don't know, it feels good.
Yeah,
for just so many reasons. Like you know, the podcast's growing to the point where they clearly think that we're worth a creator pass,
it's a nice,
which feels kind of cool.
It's a nice sign of progress.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it's a really nice sign of progress.
Yeah, really cool.
I'm sure we've talked about it more on Monday's episode. But yes, we are going to be at MCM Comic-Con, also partnering with EGX in October, back end of October. We are going to be there the Saturday and the Sunday.
Yeah.
We will be doing some sort of a meetup. We haven't exactly decided when. We've still got a little time to do that.
Yeah,
so
ages to do it, as it's August and it's not till October, so we've got at least probably about 2.5 months.
Yeah,
because it's at the end of October.
Yeah, we'll make announcements everywhere.
Yeah.
We'll put them in the videos. We'll put them in our Discord. I'd say the Discord is probably the best place to keep up to date with our updates because we can really easily push announcements out there. So do take a look at that. But yes, if you are going to Comic-Con in October, we would love to meet you.
Yeah.
And
we would love to say hello.
Yeah, and thank you once again, MCM, for approving us.
Yeah.
For creator passes. That's really, really, really exciting.
Mate.
yeah.
My mate MCM
yeah,
Comic-Con.
my mate MCM.
My mate MCM.
Thank you.
Big MCM.
I don't know how to segue into this. So I'm going to segue with, hey, do you like dinosaurs?
Do you like dinos?
Hey, do you like D&D?
Do you like D&D and dinosaurs?
Because if you do,
D and dinosaurs?
You may... Huh?
I said D and dinosaurs?
Oh my god, Dungeons and
Dinosaurs?
Dungeons and Dinosaurs.
Oh
Dinosaurs god. And dragons.
No, definitely
it's definitely
Dungeons and
Dinosaurs.
Let's go.
Well, if you do, you are in luck because today's video is sponsored by Paleo Games and their incredible 5e supplement, Dr. Dhrolin's Dictionary of Dinosaurs. Say that 5 times fast. I dare you. It's the book that we have here displayed wonderfully. I'm sure we'll put some art up on the screen for you. This book was written by paleontologists who were inspired to bring accurate dinosaurs into D&D. Not only that, it is beautifully illustrated.
Oh my god, so beautifully illustrated.
I cannot speak enough how gorgeous the illustrations are in this book. And for all of our dinosaurs and I guess paleontology fans, it has been illustrated by the world famous paleo artist Dr. Mark Whitten.
Yep.
And oh my god, it shows. Go on, Jack, show him.
Go
on.
So this image speaks to 2 things that you just said.
Yeah.
So if in reading the first couple of pages of this book, you can really tell that there is a passion for accurate representation of dinosaurs.
I agree.
Maybe contrary to a little bit of popular media.
Oh, tell him.
So that,
go on, drag him.
Is a velociraptor.
Yeah.
That is an actual accurate representation of a velociraptor.
You know what? I have always heard, because obviously you think of velociraptors, you think of the Jurassic Park.
You think of Jurassic Park.
But the amount of friends, I'm looking at you, right, P, who love velociraptors, who are they have feathers.
Yeah, and they're far smaller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way smaller.
Yeah.
But look how beautiful that
absolutely
art is.
Gorgeous.
This book is riddled with beautiful art. It
yeah.
is just so well drawn and just almost that almost looks lifelike.
Yeah,
no, it's insane.
I
love it so
agree.
much.
And again, if you are a fan of Dr. Mark Whitten, you will absolutely recognize his art in this. The book has a whopping 304 pages.
The heft of the book
I know.
is insane.
Of dinosaur content, including 57 new dynamic Mesozoic creatures with a further 55 optional magical variants of those creatures.
And let me pull you up my favorite magical variant. My microphone! No! So, all right, you ready for me to butcher this name?
Go on. Go on.
So the thing is, a lot of these have difficult difficult names to pronounce, but
because they're scientifically accurate.
Yeah, but they give you phonetical spelling out.
Oh, wonderful. Go on, Jack.
So because of this, I now know that this is called a Hatzegopteryx. It's the big bird-looking thing there. Yeah. Look at that dude. Yeah, I thought it would freak you out. Look at that dude. So, my favorite magical variants, so all of them have like what they would presume if created into D&D monsters, what they would look like.
Yeah.
And then they've got the optional magical ruling. So this one, not only when you put in the optional magical ruling does it go up to CR 18 and its XP is increased to 20,000, nice. But it has Sonic Shockwave, where its fly speed is increased to 600 feet, and if it moves its maximum fly distance in a straight line, it may emit a sonic sound wave at any point along it. You get to do a DC Constitution saving throw of 19 or take 12d8 thunder damage, and it is just like a fighter jet. Yeah. And it just like blows up at some point. It's insane. Man. But like there's not every single one, but there's so many creatures that have what it would be if it was just a dinosaur.
Yeah, and then the magical variant.
If you put it in a fantasy world, which I think is just such a beautiful touch.
I agree. And, you know, as well as a D&D source book, I've mentioned this, it is technically a science education book as well.
Yeah.
And not only that, it allows you as the players, you can explore entire reconstructed fossil sites.
Yeah.
And as well as that, there's 20 Mesozoic plants that all have like that in-game rules, kind of similar to like the magical variants, right?
So, like, and this is where I think I fell in love with this book a little bit, because when you go through each like formation, there's a formation, and then in that formation it's just like the things, like the environments you would find, the dinosaurs that you would find, but then the foliage you would find. And they could have just put plants in, but they put plants in, and it's like, what happens if I put the leaf of this plant under my tongue? What happens if I eat the root of this plant? What happens if I take a long rest within 10 feet of this plant?
Yeah.
What happens if I cast Speak with Animals on this plant? And they all have like different magical benefits, like that relate to Dungeons and Dragons about foliage.
It's
and I just
so incredibly in depth. I will say it.
I just think it's so special.
And hey, I know what's on everyone's lips right now. Can I play as a dinosaur person?
Sure can,
you
baby.
Absolutely certainly can. Dr. Dhrolin's Dictionary of Dinosaurs also includes 6 new playable races.
Yeah. Dino races.
Yeah.
Scaly races.
Yeah.
For all you scalies out there. So my favorite was the Lemukin.
Oh, yeah. I love this one as well.
Lemukin. But the reason I like it, because obviously I'm a min-maxer, and what you can do is you can do envenomed weapons, which is just like, you know, as a rogue, when all you want to do is poison your weapons.
Yeah.
You basically get to excrete your own poison, from whatever orifice you choose.
Me when I excrete my poison.
Me when I excrete my venom. And you basically coat your weapon, and you do like 2d4 poison damage on top of...
I like that.
But you can like poison enemies to give them disadvantage.
I like that.
And it also scales up at level 5. Yeah. It scales up like as you go further and stuff like that. And I just love how they tied in what could be like a dinosaur-like feature of like excreting poison, and then putting it into a fantasy term of, I'm a rogue and I want poisons on my weapon.
Yeah.
I just love things like that. I think it's great.
You know what? Like all of the races, they have subclasses, they have feats, they have items, they have a supplementary table for realistic behavior, evolutionary adaptations. And hey, have you ever wanted to be part of a dinosaur-themed society? Well, you can do that too.
You sure can.
And I do want to mention potentially my favorite part. Hey, you can ride the dinosaurs.
You can ride the dinosaurs. You can use howdahs to, I think that's how you pronounce it, howdahs to ride your like big dinosaurs. Howdahs are used in like East Indies like culture to like ride elephants, so you can put them on your dinosaurs, and then you can put them on and have like different effects like adding secure storage, smithing, alchemy workshops, shrines, mounted harpoon launchers, and portal nexuses on top of your dinosaur while it coasts through the night, and like these things are going on in the background, so you can basically like have your house on your dinosaur as you go.
Hey, let me ride that dinosaur. And to be honest, in general, this book provides guidance for both building entirely new campaigns around these elements, or if you already have a campaign going and an established world, you can also easily introduce something badass like dinosaur riding into your campaign.
Yeah.
And, you know, generally, you know, and obviously this is just, you know, my personal opinion, but you can really feel how much love understanding and how much education has gone into this book.
I think that it would have been so easy for them. I say easy. None of it's easy because it's written by actual paleontologists.
Yeah, actual paleontologists.
Who clearly have like a passion, not to just for like 5e and D&D, but to educate people as well. And it would have been so much easier to do a monster manual.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They've given you 4 different like campaign settings, like the ancient plateau and things like that, where you can like truly implement. They've got like bad guys like the Chronoficer in here, where it's not just like, hey, here's a book for you to put some dinosaurs in. It's, hey, you can literally make the world about this book and it feel great.
Yeah, and you know what? They also, in terms of, obviously none of it is easy, but specifically they actually have kind of like a mission statement on page 6 where they talk about some of the things like the ACs, the bonuses, the saving throws, etc. Like they vary from how you would typically do like a normal D&D calculation, right? But it's intentional, and it's a specific choice to try and make the stats reflective of the actual real creatures.
I agree.
Which I think is what's the word? Honorable, like
honorable.
respectable?
Yeah, very respectful.
Yeah,
like they've clearly gone into it with the intention to write a great supplement, but also to educate, which I think is a really notable thing about this book.
No, I agree.
Which I truly love.
I agree. So if you love dinosaurs and if you love D&D, this genuinely is the perfect book for you. And our Pathfinder friends, don't worry. There's a Pathfinder 2e conversion that has already been funded on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So that's coming too. You can find this wonderful book, Dr. Dhrolin's Dictionary of Dinosaurs, at www.paleogames.com. And if you use our code EPB10, you will get 10% off the web store.
You sure will.
This is a limited time thing only. So once again, use code EPB10 at checkout for 10% off. And if you would like to have a deeper dive into the book, please join us on stream tomorrow, Friday 30th August at 6 p.m. BST. Paleo have very kindly sponsored a segment of our stream as well. So please come along. Hey, I don't want to say that it will devolve into Special Pass.
But I think it might devolve into Special Pass.
It very well might. So thank you.
Thank you so much to Paleo Games
for sponsoring us. I know Nathan, who we've been talking to, is a squad blaster. They join our streams all the time. Thank you so very much. And we truly love your book. So thank you.
We do.
We really do.
I love it. The passion in it, you can really feel it. And I just love it so much. I think it's such a... And the art is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you. Thank you so very much for the
Paleo
sponsor.
Games.
We really, really appreciate it. Hey, we're a sponsored stream.
Hey.
YouTube. Stream on YouTube.
Both.
Let's go. So, I guess with that, shall we get into topic?
Absolutely, baby. Thank you so much to all our patrons over at Patreon.
You have no idea how much we appreciate your support.
If you want to support us over at Patreon and gain access to our exclusive content,
like our D&D campaign updates and our extra monthly live streams,
click the link in the description. More about Patreon at the end of this video. Thank you.
Hey, we're doing advice.
Advice coming from you.
These are all submissions. Thank you so very much to everyone who has submitted. If you have your own D&D advice question or you have a story you would like to share, our submission form is down below.
Yeah.
Please send them in.
If you want to pick up any merch, www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Patreons get 10% off. Come join our Patreon, our multi-tiered Patreon, where you get exclusive content over there. That is in the description down below. Come join us on Twitch every Friday, every Sunday, and every other Tuesday. And thanks so much for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, ring the bell.
Oh my god.
All the good stuff.
All right, this first one has been sent in by Clueless Nerd, and she uses she, her pronouns.
Clueless Nerd.
Clueless Nerd. Have I bitten off more than I can chew?
Okay.
Hello there, I'm a huge fan of the podcast. You are both such a delight and have provided such a lovely safe space in the D&D and TTRPG community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nerd. The advice I need is as follows. I've been playing D&D for several years now, and I am so fortunate to have an amazing group of friends that play together every week. We are a fairly large group with a total of 7 players and 1 DM, and several of my friends have taken turns running campaigns, including my own fiancé.
Okay.
I've always loved the art of storytelling, and D&D has just furthered this passion for me. Recently, I have decided to run a campaign of my own for the first time.
Very good.
Fortunately, I have time to prepare, and I want to run my own written homebrew campaign. I'm writing and structuring a world styled in a gothic Wild West fashion around a party that will be a group of cryptid chasers.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
My fiance and friends are so excited of the campaign, which only fuels my own excitement, but I have a few concerns. I have 2 rules lawyers in my party, one who is always very helpful, and the other who often tries just to insert themselves into every DM's rulings.
Okay.
Am I taking on too much by trying to run a homebrew of my own design for my first campaign DMing? And how do you handle a rules lawyer who interjects negatively at times? Thank you in advance for your help.
So I think sometimes doing your own homebrew can actually be quite freeing. Like, yes, it is all your own and stuff like that, so there will be a lot for you to create, but you really aren't bound to anything.
Yeah.
Like, there can be no preconceived notions of what your campaign can be because you've made it up. There can be no, like, actuallying because it's all your own stuff.
Yeah.
Like, all of these monsters that I create, all of this world, all of this lore, this, like pantheon of gods and stuff like that is all mine. So you know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And I will tell you about it.
Yeah.
Which is the freeing thing about homebrew, in my opinion.
I think the thing with modules, there's kind of 2 ways you can take it. You can either be comforted by the structure.
Yeah.
You can be comforted knowing, okay, this is the next step. That's the next step. And having it laid out for you. Or you can feel constricted by it because what if it doesn't go that way?
Yeah.
How do you get them back onto that path? Oh, I have to follow this path for it to be X, Y, Z.
For it to be the module.
And honestly, that is so personal to everyone, and everyone will treat them differently. And I think Clueless Nerd, it's up to you to decide how you feel about that.
I completely agree.
And,
I think, go.
And I was just going to say, and if this is something you're unsure of, could you run a one-shot in the meantime?
Yeah, why don't you run a small arc, like, of how these players came together?
Yeah.
Like, the missions that they're about to go on.
Yeah.
Like, where does it begin?
Yeah.
Like, why are they cryptid hunters? Can you have their first, like, get-together as the one-shot to see if you like home brewing?
Yeah.
And to see, like, if you like dungeon mastering.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this sounds like such a fucking cool idea, by the way.
Like, Western Gothic...
Cryptid hunters?
Like, Western Gothic cryptid hunters sounds so much fun.
It sounds so much
fun. Sounds like such a great idea. So the thing that I will say about the unhelpful interjecting rules lawyering from this player. So Margaret, when she first dungeon mastered, like, you know, she was dungeon mastering for me, who knows quite a lot about the game, for Matthew, who knows a lot about the game, for Josh, who knows quite a lot about the game, but Abby, who is brand new.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, she had 3 males
Yeah.
who know a lot about the game. None of us are really actually is.
No,
but
none of you are.
Even though we aren't actually is, are what's the phrase?
Rules lawyers.
Rules lawyers, yeah. You even said, like, let me do it all. And if I want your help, I
will ask you.
I will ask you for your help.
Yeah, and
that's when you can help me.
I said that in session 0.
Yeah.
Please have a session 0. I know that you're all friends. You've all played together. It doesn't even have to be something as formal as a session 0 if you don't want it to be. But do get together beforehand. And if you have any homebrew rules, you know, you're going to DM differently to how your fiance DM'd and how your friends DM'd.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to get together and let people know of these differences. And honestly, in that session 0, you can say, and by the way, I know you guys this is what I said. I know you want to help me.
Yeah.
And I know that there will be certain elements you actually know more about me, especially because more than me, because you've DM'd.
Yeah.
But I really want this to be my own experience.
Yeah.
And I will do it. And if I need your help, I will then ask you.
Yeah.
Please try not to help me unless I ask
Unless
you.
I ask.
And no one did.
Literally nobody did.
Everyone literally left me to do it. And it meant when I asked for help, everyone was very happy to give it. And I was happy to receive it.
We knew that when you were asking was because you wanted our opinion.
Exactly. And you know what? If this rules lawyer... Either, let's say you have that conversation and the rules lawyer continues to do this, right? Especially negatively. Because there is a difference, I think.
There is a difference, yeah.
You can go to this rules lawyer individually and just say, hey, I know you're trying to help me, but what I said in session 0, I really mean it. And you trying to interject when I'm trying to learn is actually really detrimental for me.
It's hindering me.
And it's not good for me.
Mm-hmm.
So this is me asking you personally to please stop it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I need your help, I will ask you. But just trust me.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I just said, please just trust me. And everyone did. And if they're your friends, they will, and they will respect that, right? Even the negative rules lawyer.
Yeah. And I think, those two things, like, make it very apparent in session 0 that, like, I understand that you want to help, but I only want the help when I ask for it. Like, don't give me it unless I ask for it. And when I do ask for it, it's because I want your opinion.
Yep.
And I think running a shot, like one shot or a couple of shot at the beginning, like a prequel to the campaign, to be like how they came together or something like that, to see if you have a passion for homebrew, because you might very well see quite quickly, and there's no shame in it, that homebrewing's just maybe a bit too much for you.
Yeah.
But you might find out you have a serious passion for it. And then it's like, okay, then I'm going to throw myself into the campaign. But if you throw yourself into the campaign and then you realize that, it feels worse.
And then, it also gives your players a chance to understand you as a DM, and you as a chance to understand your players, right? Because it's going to be different. And you know what? You saying at session 0, hey, like, I'll ask for help when I need it. Everyone knows, I am certain, if this person tries to start negatively rules lawyering you, your friends, your fiance are probably going to be like, hey, look, she said,
don't.
Hey, let's let her work it out. And if she needs our help, like, your friends will also back you up. And if this is something you are specifically worried about, mention it privately to your fiance.
Yeah.
And have your fiance keep an eye out for it.
Just back me up.
It's nice having the backup. And, like, if no one did this to me, but if they did, you would have absolutely, probably immediately backed
I think
me
everyone
up.
would have.
They would have. Everyone would have.
I would have, of course I would have, yeah.
Yeah. So, Clueless Nerd, it's absolutely your prerogative whether you think it's too much. Try a one-shot. Consider a module if you don't like it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, a goth Wild West with cryptid chasers sounds cool as fuck.
Sounds insane.
It sounds like so good.
Such a good concept that I would be so excited about.
Yeah, honestly.
As a player.
Same, me too. So I hope that helps, Clueless Nerd. Good luck. I hope you have an amazing time. And good on you.
You've got it.
Good on you. All right. This next one has been sent in by Spencer, and he uses he, him pronouns.
Thank you very much, Spencer.
I feel like my turns in combat are too short. We are playing a modified Curse of Strahd campaign, and I am absolutely loving it. One of our party of 3 consists of a fighter, a warlock, and me, a Twilight cleric. I love my fellow players, and RDM is great. Out of combat, I feel like I have a good bit to do, since I am definitely the moral compass of the party. I tend to be the only one who makes friends and not enemies, so that part is very rewarding.
Nice.
However, in combat, I feel as if my turn lasts little more than a few seconds. There is nothing inherently wrong with that, but our combats tend to run on the longer side. I love combat. Being able to feel like a badass and show off my abilities is a blast. The fighter gets 2 attacks, action surge, along with a hellhound familiar. The warlock also gets 2 attacks and has a gazer familiar. Being a cleric, I only get 1 attack, and I have no familiar. Most of my good spells and saves and my DC is only 15 at level 7, so they fail as often as they succeed, unfortunately.
Yep.
I know I have access to amazing concentration spells and unmatched abilities as a Twilight cleric, and yet I feel like the weakest member of the party. With all of that said, am I being unreasonable? I love that my party members have their awesome moments and they have the coolest magic items. I don't want to be the main character, but I can't help but feel like one of my favorite parts of the game is lacking for me. I'm thinking of spending some downtime with a wizard NPC to learn Find Familiar. Maybe that would help.
Okay, so I feel like at the very end there, is it because you don't have the companion, but the fighter does and the warlock does?
Yeah.
Is that what? Because there's a second turn to it.
Yeah, I feel like, we've said this before. Any form of summon, it's action economy.
It takes some time.
You essentially get another turn in combat, right? And I think that is probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
Especially if Spencer's going to actively seek out Find Familiar.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big part of it. Off the top of my head, I can think of Spiritual Weapon that doesn't require concentration.
But it does act on its, it's What is it? Does it get its own turn? No, it's just
just
bonus
goes
action.
after you, isn't it? Oh no, it's a bonus action. It's a bonus action.
You cast it as a bonus action and it gets an attack.
Yeah.
But then it weaponizes your bonus action. But God, what is it with Twilight Cleric? Isn't it just like a free action? People just get the temporary hit points.
Yeah, I think so.
So your bonus action would be free. Yeah, spiritual weapon's a good one. So if it's honestly just like something like this that you want to act like after you, isn't there summon celestial that you could do something with? Which I imagine clerics get.
Because what? You're level 7, so you will have access
4th level
to
spells.
Is it not? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think summon celestial's a 3rd level spell, isn't it?
I can't even remember because everyone uses summon Fae and summon Beast and summon Draconic Spirit and things like that. Summon Greater Demon.
Let's see. What spell level is
Summon Celestial? And does every cleric get access to it?
It's a 5th level spell.
That's why.
Yeah.
So we'll wait until level 9.
Yeah.
At least. Maybe just ask if there's a way that you can get a free cast of like Summon Fae or Summon Draconic Spirit or Summon Greater Demon, which is just a 3rd level spell.
Yeah, and if you are into Find Familiar, then sure. There is all sorts of different mechanics in game for an actual, not a magical familiar, for an actual companion.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't have like a ranger, or specifically a Beastmaster Ranger, right? So you wouldn't be taking away from anyone else's companion by having a companion. I suppose, Spencer, this is all up to
how does the fighter have a hellhound familiar?
How does your fighter have a hellhound familiar?
that sounds magic item because there's no way they can get access to that.
Like a hellhound?
A hellhound?
Yeah, unless
it's
like,
massively strong.
Unless it's like reskinned, but
maybe.
I can't think off the top of my head of a fighter that gets a summon in its class
at all.
Like not even like the Eldritch Knight or
the one that makes the copy of itself,
the
Echo Knight.
The Echo Knight, yeah.
But I would also just check in with your Dungeon Master.
Yeah,
because
absolutely,
if the Dungeon Master's already like, man, there's too many like summons going on around here,
yeah.
and then you're like, hey, can I get a summon? They might say like, but there is other ways, and you get great concentration spells. The Twilight Cleric is just brilliant in its own right. Like giving out hit points.
I would say the Twilight Cleric is unfortunately very type coded,
overpowered as well.
And I would say people play the Twilight Cleric to bust out the big healing. Like to be honest with you.
And like the thing is, you might your turns might be shorter, but I bet you they're no less unimpactful.
Less value.
You get spiritual weapon out. You get spirit guardians up. You have your aura out.
Yeah.
You're dealing damage to anyone who's near you and halving their movement. You've got a bonus action attack on people. You are healing anybody within it, and it's dim light within there. And I'm pretty sure you can fly inside it as well, which is wild.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing is, I understand. It sounds like it's the time, the physical amount of time, because you love combat, that you're spent doing things. My 2 suggestions: could you multi-class?
Yeah.
Could you multi-class into a fighter? Granted, you will not get action surge until level 2.
You should multi-class into a wizard. Then you'll get 5 familiar no matter what.
You could multi-class into a wizard. You could multi-class into, honestly, kind of anything.
5 familiar is first level spell, isn't it? So you'll be able to get it straight away if you take level 1 wizard.
Yeah. You could multi-class, and that would give you more options.
Yeah.
If you want more things, I could suggest fighter, but then again, at the same time, do you want to go? Would you feel like you're stepping on your fighter's toes by multi-classing into fighter? You could try and flavor your things more verbally. You could try and paint a word picture with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, sure, okay, you cast your Twilight Sanctuary, but what does that look like?
Maybe you can just talk to your Dungeon Master about your spiritual weapon being like sentient.
Yeah.
And it being able to like talk to you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And maybe like, if we could give it like things where it could like trip or something like that to make it like a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah.
Maybe because spiritual weapon, it's just like, it's just a weapon that like looks like glorious and clericy and celestial.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like that. It could be, you could find familiar in whatever way. And when you like cast spiritual weapon, it then gets a turn in combat or something like that.
Yeah,
Do you know
totally.
what I mean?
Like, I think, Spencer, this is very much have a conversation with your dungeon master and tell them how you're feeling. I'm sure your DM doesn't want you feeling like this.
Yeah. And I think there's ways to do it.
Yeah, and think about what you want. If you simply want your turns to last a little bit longer, you could try flesh it out with describing things.
Yeah.
You could multi-class. You could try and get a companion. But ultimately, this is a conversation between you and your DM. Tell him how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Tell him. And you're very valid in feeling like that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, this has nothing to do with being a main character.
No.
Right?
No, and like I love companions. I think companions are great
Me
little
too.
guys that can like add a lot to your character and like bonds and stuff like
Me
that.
too.
So I think maybe finding a way to make your spiritual weapon maybe something like that.
Yeah, totally.
If you don't want a multi-class, but then also one level in wizard, find familiar, then you get it. Done. I hope that helps. And like we said, just because your turns aren't maybe as long or as like fleshed out doesn't mean they're less impactful.
Absolutely.
So if
absolutely.
you want just a little bit more like length and like substance to your turn, something like that, would probably help.
And you say that your save is 15 at level 7, which I think is
not bad.
That's not bad.
I don't think that's bad.
Yeah, no, that's not bad.
Saving throws go up slow.
Yeah,
like,
they really do.
Slowly.
Yeah. Maybe there's something, if that's something that is really bothering you, you could ask your DM if they could give you a magical item that helps boost that a little bit.
It helps boost your wisdom because then you get
saving
to,
throw
you know,
go up.
every even number that you get to, your saving throw will go up. Every time your proficiency bonus goes up, your spell save goes up as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I completely understand, by the way, it feeling devastating when something succeeds on a save.
Yeah.
Could you be more of a melee fighter?
Yeah.
Like, if you're casting just spells, because you're saying here they fail as often as they succeed, could you pick up a melee weapon? And could you go into the fray a bit more if you're standing back and using cantrips and stuff?
And the thing is, I'm pretty sure as a Twilight Cleric, you get heavy armor proficiency.
Yeah.
So, you know, like getting that Spirit Guardians up, I understand that, you know, maybe things will still save. But if you're in the thick of it and multiple things are in there, it's like everything can't save all the time.
Yep, true.
It just can't. Sometimes things will just roll low.
Indeed. I hope that helps, Spencer. And you're so valid in how you're feeling, by the
100%.
way. And speak to your DM, and I am certain when you tell them how you're feeling, they will help you out.
Yeah, 100%. They should do, yeah.
Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you, Spencer.
All right, this next one has been sent in by Alice, and she uses she, her pronouns.
Thank you very much, Alice.
Hi, Jack, Mags, Bully, and the ever-consuming entity.
And Paleo Games.
And yeah, obviously. I love everything you guys do for the community and the joy that you bring to so many of us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks,
I'm glad that you feel that way.
My question relates to combat. I currently play at the table of 8 plus the DM. However, we typically only have 5 or 6 players around the table due to it being so ridiculously difficult to align schedules for so many people.
Yeah, with eight players and a DM.
Whoa, 9 people.
I reckon every single session there'd be somebody missing.
That's a party, by the way.
That's a
party.
100%.
Majority of the players are spellcasters, some with access to level 5 spells for context going forward. A major issue I have with combat is the time each round takes. Typically, they have been taking up to and sometimes exceeding an hour, which feels like such a slog, especially if you miss your attack or you get charmed, etc. Things that slow down our rounds are players who take 15 minutes on their turn, not knowing or understanding the effects of the spells they've chosen to cast, and refusing to read up on them before their turn, flip-flopping on where to move by moving their mini, then moving it back, then moving it somewhere else, then moving it back again. Players stopping the flow of combat by asking questions like, would I know what damage affects these creatures the most? Or would I know this creature's weakness? To the point of metagaming. And lastly, not paying attention above table. Not everyone does this, but those that do really drag combat something chronic. I've even become to dread them. All of that being said, what are your tips for getting around this and speeding the rounds up a little bit? RDM has thought about implementing timed turns. Any ideas would be much appreciated. Thanks so much. I always love your advice. P.S. I'm not from the UK, so I can't join the live streams due to time zones, but just wanted to let you know that I'm supporting from afar.
Oh, well, thank you so
Alice.
much. Hey, this might help you. I don't know if it does, but we are streaming an hour earlier from now on.
We are, yes.
So instead of going from 7 to 11 BST, we go from 6 to 10 BST.
Yes.
Even if you could join for an hour.
Yes, good point.
Or something like that.
Should have mentioned that in the beginning.
We mentioned it
on
now.
Monday.
Yeah, we mentioned
it on Monday.
So, it's a Matt Mercer special. It's a Matt Mercer special. Margaret, it's your turn. Matthew, you're on deck.
Yep.
Matthew, you're up next. Because I don't want to come to your turn and you not have a single fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't pay attention to the two people before you, at least if you're looking now, you can get a state of where people are and what's going on. And then Margaret does her turn, and I have at least got my phone up. Like at my table, my players don't need to know exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I want them to have an idea.
Yep.
I definitely want them to know what the fuck's going on the battlefield.
Yep.
Like if you don't know what's going on, why is that area of effect there? That's because plant growth's down, mate. Or like spike growth's down or something.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to know that.
Yeah. And sometimes there's times where you're thinking about your turn, you look up and everything's changed and you're like, why are you stood there now? And
ask that question.
That's very normal, right? That's very normal.
Like time turns are fine as long as the time that you are given is at least, it's not like
6 seconds.
6 seconds is stupid.
Yeah.
2 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd say that's.
And it's not even like 2 minutes to have your whole turn. It's 2 minutes. And when that's done, you're taking your turn. Like what's happening?
Like 2 minutes to kind of verbally be like, oh, okay, I could do this, and like I completely understand. Like sometimes if each round takes an hour, I completely understand how that is a drag. I agree. And there is times where I would never say an hour, but there's times where our turns in combat can take like 10-15 minutes. Because we are all working together and it's like crunch time, right? So I get it.
I still don't think the turns take 10 minutes.
Every single round
taking an hour it's too long.
Is painfully long.
And look, like if it was 8, but if you're telling me there's only 5 or 6 people, it shouldn't take that long.
No,
I'm
agree.
currently running with 5 people at the table as our friend Wabs is playing.
Even when we had 6,
like nothing takes that long.
Yeah,
like, never takes that long.
It doesn't. And
so
the worst thing is, Alice, this is a DM thing, right?
It's a DM thing as to create a atmosphere of like combat's fast and that's how I want it to be. And like I don't want you to know exactly what you're gonna do, but I want you to have an idea. And if you're taking too long, I just say like if somebody's usually it's Josh because Josh is thinking very hard about like. Maybe you're in a bad situation or something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe he's been silent for like 20 or so seconds. And I say, what are you doing, Josh?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you go now, but it's like, what you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you need to start to tell me what you're thinking about doing.
That's it. It's kind of encouraging the vocalization of what the plan is.
Mm-hmm.
And Alice, send this to your DM so you can both, because the thing is you can help the DM with this as well. I don't think time turns in this instance are necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I think don't let it lead into kind of a toxic, like you have 6 seconds and if you don't do it, you miss your turn. Like, that's the bad way to do it.
I think your dungeon master should say something like, I don't want to like get to time turns.
Yeah.
But if, I'm going to try and implement, like, look, you're on deck.
Yep, I think that's a great
for the next
suggestion.
person. Every single time a spell goes down, like, hey, just so everyone knows, this is the spell. It's here.
Yep.
Like, let me know that you've seen that. Okay, very good. Moving on.
Totally.
When it comes to your turn, like, you can cast any spell you want, but I at least need you to know what the spell does before you attempt to cast it.
Yeah.
And if you say that you cast it, and then retract it because you didn't like say the spell out loud. Like it's not that it's like you waste that spell. It's like that's not good enough anymore.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
If you're going to cast a spell, just at least know what it does.
Yeah, and the flip flopping about whether to move, I get it. We all do that.
Sometimes
right?
that does happen.
Like, it does, but I think there has to be kind of an emphasis on just be confident with what you're doing.
Yeah, just be confident in your decision making.
I think this needs to open up a conversation with everyone. I think your DM needs to go to the group and say, hey, obviously your DM is aware that it's a thing because they're talking about introducing timed turns. The DM goes to the group and says, hey, listen, combat
taking
does
too
drag
long.
A little bit.
Just be honest and say it's taking too long.
It's taking too long, and let's all work together now to work out why it's taking so long. Are there any questions, queries, concerns about what's going on? And let's work together on things we can implement for it not to take that long, because it's taking way too long. And then your DM should go individually to these two people who are making it the longest and just say, hey, like, I'm just checking in with you. What is it that is worrying you about the combat? You know, like when you're unsure about where to move, like, is it because you're worried strategically it's not the right idea? Are you worried that I'm going to punish you for doing that? What is it that makes you so unsure? Because let's work on it together. And it very well could come out that maybe your players, if they are like a min-maxer, they want to actually achieve the most superior position on the combat.
Yeah, or action economy, like getting the most out of my turn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or it might just
be,
or they're underconfident, or they might have picked fucking wizard and they're like,
Yeah.
this stinks. I actually fucking hate this. I actually just want to play barbarian. It's just like, well, maybe we can do a class change.
Exactly.
And like, because like you not having fun and taking ages isn't just affecting you, it's affecting the whole table.
Yep.
So if you want to change class, like, that's totally fine with me.
I completely
If it's for
agree.
the betterment of the table, and everyone can just be like, yeah, they were a barbarian all along, no one cares, like, that's fine. Yeah, and maybe just go to those people and be like, you take a long time to choose which spells. Is it because you maybe don't know what spells you're casting?
Absolutely.
Like, could you do a little bit of, like, homework or research
absolutely.
on these certain spells to... When you turn up, be like, okay, these are my ride or die spells, and I know exactly what they do. Every time I introduce a new one, I'm going to read it and make sure I understand what it does.
Yeah, and I think finding out the root of the problem will help you solve it ultimately.
I agree.
But that is something that your DM has to have the conversation about.
I agree.
I wouldn't recommend you as a player kind of having these private conversations.
But just send this to your dungeon master.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just say, hey, we want to help you, dungeon master.
Yeah.
You're not the only person, and you won't be the first, and you aren't the last.
Yeah, and you know, like the metagaming, the things like, would I know what damage affects these creatures the most? Your DM can simply say no.
Yeah, like I think
like
a lot
if
of
they
times,
don't, simply say no.
A lot of times, a lot of dungeon masters feel like somebody asked a question, so they have to dignify it.
It's the whole yes and thing.
Yeah, it's like yes and is fine and stuff, but it's not the right fucking way to dungeon master. There is no right way to dungeon master. Sometimes, hey, this beast has been locked away in a crypt for thousands of centuries. Do I know what damage? It's like, no, of course you don't. Nobody's seen this beast in literally thousands of years. You have no idea.
Yeah, and you know what? If your players...
No is a complete sentence.
If your players can justify why they might know, oh, my village was attacked by something that looks like this, and I know what their weakness is, can I use the power of deduction?
Roll me history check.
Exactly.
Like, so let's just go.
Exactly. You know, no is a complete sentence.
Yeah,
absolutely.
no is a complete sentence, but sometimes they might do. It's like, hey, roll me a history check.
Yeah.
Look, Abby asks me all the time, like, her character is all about books. It's like, hey, would I have written anything about this in the book? And if I know for certain that she's never read anything about this book, I'll just say no.
Yeah.
Or I'll say, roll me a history check.
Yeah.
She rolls me a history check, and I'll tell her the DC outright. Like, if it's fucking really hard, it's 25, you know? If it's something simple that she might know, it's 10, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'll give her some basic information. Like, she doesn't want everything all the time. She might just want something.
Yeah, a crumb.
A
morsel.
A crumb, a morsel that might help her understand a little bit more about something.
Yeah, totally. So, Alice, an hour per turn?
Too long.
Per round, sorry.
Round in combat
too long.
is too long.
Way too long. Yeah, absolutely. Send this to your DM. Let your DM know that you will support any decision that they make.
Yeah.
You will work. All of you hopefully
Together.
will work together. Ask the question, find out the root of the problem, and then you can solve it.
Yeah.
Because it could just be something as simple as, man, I fucking hate these spells.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
fucking hate being a wizard.
Yeah. Hey, I don't like the game.
Yeah,
I don't like playing the game.
Actually, I hate D&D.
Hey, I don't like playing D&D. I don't like combat.
Yeah.
You know? And once you have an answer, you can work on it. So good luck, Alice. Good luck, DM, if you're watching this. If Alice has sent this to you, an hour is too long.
An hour is
and
too long.
It's okay for you to think that.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
All right, this is the penultimate. All right, this is the penultimate. This has been sent in by Kalmia, and they use they them pronouns.
Thank you very much, Kalmia.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Kalmia.
K-A-L?
Kalmia. Kalmia.
Kalmia. Cool.
Kalmia.
Kalmia.
Hi, Margaret and Jack. I've just started listening to your podcast, but I've seen a bunch of TikTok clips, and I've always wanted to submit something, so here I am.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've been playing D&D for about 5 years now. I've DM'd 4 campaigns in total, including 2 that I am DMing now, and I have never had an issue like this before.
Okay.
I'm running a game with some of my college friends in a high school urban fantasy setting.
Cool.
I've been world building this setting for about 7 years. I've created languages, countries, and magic systems for it. Alexa, volume down. Hey, sorry if I've just set anyone's Alexa off there. The music was so
Just got
loud.
so loud for a second.
It got so loud. Magic systems for it. I've thought about politics and history. I know each character down to what their Twitter handle would be. I thought I should turn it into a campaign for my college friends who were moving to the same city as me for uni instead of having it just exist in my notes app. The few sessions went well, but I found that they weren't really interacting with the worlds and characters that I had built. I feel like we're all trying to play different games. I want to run a fun high school adventure with an underlying mystery. The paladin and monk want to have a gritty, sexy vampire mafia plot. The warlock is an introvert who refuses to interact with any other characters. And the cleric is actually pretty alright if inexperienced. Honestly, it's sucking the joy out of this world I've created, and I kind of want it to end before I lose all of the love for this world that I have spent almost a decade crafting. I really don't want to lose these friends, but we only get together as a group for D&D. I'm scared that if I voice my opinions and the game does stop, that they're never going to speak to me again, but that could just be the anxiety talking. I would love any advice you have to offer.
That is the anxiety talking.
I promise you.
And do you want to know what? If you do say, like, I don't want to run this campaign anymore, and they say, hey, we're never hanging around ever again.
Then were they ever your friends?
They were probably never your friends.
You don't want to be friends with people so fickle.
Who
That doesn't
so
make it
vapid.
That doesn't make it hurt any less. I
Yeah.
fully understand that. But they were never your friends to begin with.
So with this, there's just a difference in want in what the game is.
Yeah, which
Look,
I think you recognize.
Yeah, the paladin might just be like a early game thing that they can like come out of the shell about and stuff like that. But was he looking at something? It sounded like it was, didn't it?
It did, but he isn't.
The sexy raunchy vampire thing, like it's up to you. Like if you feel like you can tie that in somehow, then tie that in somehow and let them know that, oh yeah, if you want that, I'll make an arc with that in.
Yeah.
Like, if that's what you want. But the whole campaign's not going to be like that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there is a bunch of people out there who would live, laugh, love to be in a campaign that you've created like this.
Absolutely.
Are these the people? Maybe not. Does that mean that it's like lost forever? No. Can you run it again for somebody else? Yes. Would your love for this die if you ran it too long for the wrong people? Potentially.
Yeah, quite
And there's
potentially.
nothing wrong with like admitting that.
No.
You maybe just didn't check that they were on the same page as you
Yeah,
before the campaign starts, and that's fine.
You know what? Like, I don't know if you've played with these people before. You just say you were college friends who moved to the same city as you. I don't know if you say one of them is definitely inexperienced. This could very much be a symptom of they don't know what D&D is yet.
Yeah,
you know,
they don't know what you're about yet.
You've been playing for 5 years. You've DM'd 4 campaigns. Like, you know what D&D is about. You know
100%.
what is available there. There's a chance
You know what you want as well.
Exactly. There's a huge chance they might not know what they want. And, you know, there also is something, kind of what Jack said, like, would you lose the love for this thing that you've crafted for the best part of a decade? There is. There is a chance that it could be spoiled
There's
for
a big
you.
chance.
And, you know, there is also something to be said about if this thing is so precious to you, if you could find people, or if these people could kind of change their perception, would you still be okay with your
them having their
players
grubby mitts over it?
Dirty little mitts all over your world that is obviously very precious to you. And, you know, I'm not saying like, it's so precious you shouldn't let anyone touch it, but there is that is a thought.
Yeah, and then that is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Like, I've created this like world and these plot hooks, and like I think I know how it's gonna all play out.
Yeah, I love these characters. I love these characters. NPCs.
And then the players come in, and players do what players do, and they like interpret things in different ways.
Exactly.
And they begin to like alter the course of the campaign.
Exactly.
And then you realize, I hate what they're doing to my campaign.
I don't like that the changes they've made.
And that's fine. It's
That is
like
fine.
it's allowed to be your own personal thing.
Absolutely.
Without anybody getting their hands on it. But if you still want a dungeon master, like just maybe run a module.
Yeah.
Maybe run a campaign that you're less passionate about, because then you won't mind people changing it.
Yeah.
You won't mind people like altering the course of your campaign, because we can do this. Like I at the beginning of my inception of being a dungeon master, I was like, this is the way the campaign's going to go, and then it didn't go that way.
Yeah.
But I was totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't so like passionate. I wasn't anywhere near as passionate as you are about your setting. Like, you are clearly like very passionate about your setting, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Whilst I, on the other hand, I set things up in a certain way, and I thought they were going to be perceived in a certain way, and they weren't, and that upset me.
Yeah, you struggled with that.
I did struggle with that, and that's totally valid, and that's okay. And I'm not being like, oh, go write a book, but
because there's nothing. The thing is, it's just like the whole go write a book always comes off as a bit of a as an insult, but it's not.
It
sometimes
really isn't. It really is. Take this world you really care about, keep it personal to yourself. Keep it away from being changed, but still has eyes on it.
Yeah.
It's still enjoyed, But I think you need to ask yourself,
would you be okay, no matter who it is, whether these people who want like hot sexy vampire stuff, like if they were actually really interested in your story and they still got their mittel all over it and changed it,
because they will change it.
Would you still be okay with that?
It goes without saying. Your players will change your world. They'll change your NPCs. They won't care about certain things as much as you care about them. They will perceive things differently to how you perceive them. And that, I think that's the joy of D&D.
Yeah.
That's the collaboration of D&D.
I agree. I completely agree.
So, what do? I think you talk to your group.
Yeah.
I think you say, hey, so, and especially if they're inexperienced, be like, I'm getting the feeling that we're all kind of wanting different things out of this game.
We're all on different pages.
This is the intentions that I have. These are the themes that I want to touch. This is the game experience I want to have. Do you think any or all of you are interested in this same thing that I'm wanting? Because if you're not, then I can't give you the experience that you're after. I don't know if you heard any of what I just said.
No, I did.
The dog was dangerously close
to the camera,
to knocking you over.
Yeah, and we don't want that for you. And I think could you see yourself dungeon mastering for this exact same group, just not this campaign? Like if you were to hit a module, if you were to hit a Curse of Strahd for the vampire like enjoyers or something like that, would you enjoy that and would they enjoy that? Or do you really want to dungeon master this campaign?
Yes.
Because if that's the case, then it's okay to say that this group's not for that campaign.
Absolutely.
Like, and find a different group who, they see the world primer, they hear what the campaign's about, and they're like, I'm in because I love the campaign primer so much.
Yeah.
Because if people are just like, I just want to play D&D, and then you've given them this, and they're just not that interested in the setting, it's just like, there's nothing wrong with that for either party.
No.
We just maybe didn't check beforehand.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
And, it's okay for some of them to be like, no, we'll leave. Your cleric. It's okay if just your cleric wants to stay.
Yeah.
There are so many outcomes for this.
Yeah.
But I think you need to think first of all what
you want.
You would be happy with, and then you have to talk to your group. You have to let them know how you're feeling. You have to try and get you all on the same page because you don't want it to suck the joy out of this world.
No, that would be the worst thing to happen from this situation.
Truly, it would.
You lose passion for this setting.
Absolutely. You're saying you want it to end before I lose all the love in this world. And if that's how you're feeling, and if that's the conclusion you come to, that is so okay.
Yeah.
You absolutely can just go, nope, actually, this is too close to me. I don't want this changed. I love this for what this is, and I'm going to stop this. And you can say to your friends, by the way, I'm worried that if we stop playing, I'm not going to see you again. Your friends are going to...
If they're your friends...
want to hang out with you.
They're going to still want to hang out with you, no matter if you play in this campaign or not.
They go, okay, well, how about we just play... Hey, we could play games on Discord.
Yeah.
Hey, we could have a movie night once a week.
We
could
can
have a game night
some
once
food.
a week. Exactly. In the time you're not playing D&D, if that's the path you go down, you can fill that time doing anything else.
Sorry, we had to click out. We had to click out for the dog. But yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
So
I hope that helps.
I hope
Kalmia.
that helps.
I really hope that helps.
I feel for you.
Yeah.
And out of everything, passion for your setting is the last thing that I want you to lose here.
Yep.
And if that means DMing for the same group, a different module, dropping this group and playing with some other people.
Yep.
Never playing with this actually because I've got a fear of people changing it and turning it into something that I don't want it to become.
Yep.
Like whatever it is, I just don't want that to happen.
Yep,
so I hope that helps.
Yeah, truly. And you are valid in how your the dog just walked into the light. You're valid in the light, not that light.
Not that light.
That studio light.
He walked into the light.
And thank you very much for your submission.
Thank you.
All right, this is the last one. This has been sent in by Nicky Giggles5 on Twitch, and she uses she/her pronouns.
Thank you very much, Nicky Giggles5.
Hello to the award-winning Margaret and Jack.
Oh, who, me?
I was hoping you could give me some advice on how to handle a player who has an obsession with loot.
Okay.
I am a new DM and I have been running a campaign for over a year. I had never played a game previously, but after watching Critical Role and listening to your podcast, you gave me the courage to give DMing a go. I have come to absolutely love it, and I've even joined other campaigns online as a player. It's safe to say I am hooked. There is just a few teething problems I'm having with my group, and I don't know how to handle it.
Very. I get man, when you're in this like zone, there's no better feeling. It's like I just inject it into my veins.
Yeah,
like no matter
all of the D&D.
where I get it from, I just want it.
Yeah, totally.
God,
We've all been there.
I love it so much.
2 of the 4 players are experienced, while the other 2 have never played before. Everything is going great between my players, except for the increasingly bad habit of one of the new players. They are absolutely obsessed with finding loot. Every session, they have to find something, no matter how small, and they have even abandoned their party members in the middle of combat to look for loot. They have even looted the corpses of baddies that the other players have just finished killing, leaving nothing for the rest of the players, and they don't like to share their items either. In the beginning, I was eager to reward my players with loot, and I confess I was too generous in handing out pretty big items. My bad. Now I have learned to balance it out and have switched to rewarding players with loot due to their accomplishments, milestones, by rolling a chance dice, or using loot-generated tables, so sometimes all they find is a rotten apple core instead of gold. I'm lost.
I'm lost in the sauce.
I'm lost.
I'm lost.
I'm lost.
Oh my god, help me. I'm lost.
I'm lost.
I'm lost.
Here is where I need your advice.
Go on then.
I've already tried to talk to this player separately about not being so loot focused, and I encourage them to be a team player and allow some of the other players to have a turn at finding items. In response, they ended up pouting and getting upset and will sit sullenly with their arms crossed if they don't get anything good by the end of the session. The other players are getting pretty annoyed by it too, and they have all complained both at the table and in confidence. One thing I should probably point out, this player is my mum. I hold our games at my parents' house, and the other players consist of my dad, a newbie, my brother, and my husband. I don't want to start any serious family drama, and this is the only time I get to play in person with people as we live in a pretty rural area. Please help a people-pleasing older daughter out. Cheers.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to know what? It all changed when you said it was your mom.
It does.
Okay.
And you know what? It does. And you know what, Nicky? The fact that you recognize that, it is a good thing.
So I think we need our big honest pants on here.
Yeah.
And I think we really need to get the message across to your mom loud and clear.
Yeah.
That, like, I get that you want something like for killing, or I get you want something for like opening the vault or something like that. Sometimes there just isn't stuff. Like, we can't find loot every single time because that makes loot less rewarding.
Yeah.
That makes it less important. That makes it less impactful. And I think you need to go to your mum and say, honestly, like, when I say those things to you and you get upset, like, it makes it really hard for me.
Yeah.
Like, really hard for me. I'm trying my best to navigate this for you and make it rewarding. But when I say, like, you can't find something and, like, you push back against me, you pout, like, you cross your arms, you get upset, that makes it really difficult for me. And I know you don't want that.
Yeah, it really upsets me. And, you know, I think you say you've already tried to talk to her and it kind of went that way. I think you you need to have another conversation
You have
with
a
her.
one-on-one conversation with
Yeah.
her outside of the game and
Yeah.
let her know exactly how you
Yeah.
feel. Maybe
Like-
send her this. Maybe say, like, I even had to put some advice into a podcast that I watch because I'm struggling with
Yeah.
how to, like, let her know
Yeah.
the gravity of the situation.
Because you're my mum and we play with our family. And I think you go back and you say, hey, mum, like, look, I've tried to talk to you before, and being honest, I'm
struggling.
I'm really worried about talking to you again
Yeah.
because of
How you
it
acted last
ended
time.
up last time. But like, I hope that as my mum, you can listen to me and what I'm saying.
Me as your daughter, not me as your dungeon master.
And tell you, like, look, this whole loot thing has gone too far for me, and like, I'm scared of starting family drama, and I don't want this to be, but like, I have to be honest with you and tell you how it's making me feel. And then you say, when you act like that, it really upsets me. It makes it hard for me. You're making it harder for me to do this. And I think you need to say to her, what is it about the loot that entices you so much? Why do you feel like that?
Mhm.
Because we've said it in the previous one. When you find out exactly why your mum is so obsessed with loot, that's when you can start to work on a foundation to sorting it out.
Because let's just say she says, "Oh, it's because that's what my character is like." And it's
Yeah.
just like, okay, so it's a character thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we can, let's just say, I don't know, for like, there's workarounds for it. You get an item that's just like an ever-changing item, and it changes into something. Maybe it's like uncommon rarity of magic item, but every day you can use an action to change it into another magic item.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's uncommon, so it could never be that groundbreakingly like busted in terms of its what it does for as a magic item. But they get the feeling of getting a new magic item every single day or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, she still gets that feeling of like, woo!
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it doesn't affect everybody else at the table.
Yeah.
That's a change if, like, depending on, if she just completely understands, your mom's just like, oh yeah, I completely get it, I'll stop doing it. Like, I didn't realize it was affecting you that much, then fair enough.
Exactly.
But if she's just like, it's just what I love about the game, it's just like, we don't want your mom to not get what she loves out of the game.
Totally.
We need to find a way for it to not
be
affect
disruptive.
you, not affect the rest of the party.
Yeah.
And something maybe like that, something that is an ever-changing magic item that she can change every day, and that it can be 10 different magic items, it could be 20 different magic items, it could be any uncommon item in the entire game, but she gets to, like, make it so.
Yeah, totally. And I think you need to once again hammer home this is a group game. Like, we're playing this game because I love playing with you, and I love having our family together, and it's fun. And, when you do things like, your characters are like real moving things. So when your character goes in and like steals from the party and doesn't let other people have it, just like, it doesn't feel good, because we're all playing this to have fun and we all want to engage in these things. Maybe she just doesn't realize this, and
maybe she doesn't realize the impact.
And the camera definitely moved there. And I think, it's like Jack said, if you get magic items all the time and they're always great and good, and these has it moved?
I don't think so.
And these like big things, like, think about like when you have a little treat, like if you have like
the treat
big
feels
treat
good
every single time, then when does it actually become a treat? It just becomes something normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like, that's the value of magic items. It's like, we don't get them all the time.
So
because
they
then
feel great.
Because then when we do get them,
exactly.
Oh, baby.
Exactly.
Like, I really, like, laid that on thick this campaign. I used to be too frivolous with magic items. And this campaign, I remember we got to a point where Margaret was like, I've only had one magic item the entire campaign. And I was like, I know, it's coming. Like, but I want to give out less magic items, but give out more impactful magic items.
Which you very much have.
Yeah, I agree. And like, everyone's getting their third and final magic item now as we're going into the very last arc of the campaign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that's how I wanted it to be. It's just like, we only have one for a long time. Then we get two, and then finally we end with three.
Yeah. Like, I'm really hoping that your mum will understand as your mum. And you say you play with your dad. Like, could you get your dad in on this as well?
Yeah, could you get your dad in
to
to
be like, hey, dad, like,
chat with mum?
I'm scared about talking to mum. Can you help?
Can you help? Yeah.
Like, again, I don't want to speculate on your family dynamic. I have no idea what that's like. But I would like to think that as family, she'd be willing to work with you on this if you tell her how you really feel.
As a family who's close enough to play D&D together.
Exactly.
Like, maybe your dad can be like, I'll be there when you have the chat, or
Exactly.
I can, give you some pointers to what's the best way to talk to you.
Because you said that all of the other players are annoyed by it too.
Yeah.
You know, and for your mum's sake, she needs to cut this out.
Yeah,
like,
big
for your
time,
mum's sake
100%.
too.
Couldn't agree more.
And by the way, you're not causing family drama by wanting to have a conversation.
You're almost avoiding
You're
family
preventing
drama
it.
by having this conversation because you never wanted to boil over to that point.
Exactly. You're preventing it by having a conversation. So I hope that helps.
I hope that helps.
Nicky, I really do. Please keep us updated. Please have a conversation with
Bleep.
us. Bleep. And that's it.
That's it.
That's your fill.
That is your fill.
That's your lot.
For today.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to Paleo Games for sponsoring this
so much.
episode of the podcast.
Join us stream literally tomorrow, and we're going to do more of a deep dive into Dr. Dhrolin's Dictionary of Dinosaurs. I'm going to say that 5 times fast.
Thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Go pick up some merch. Go check out the Patreon. All in the description down below. All helps the podcast. All helps me and Margaret. Thank you so much for being here. I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you.
Yeah.
We have been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
And another huge thank you to our patrons for all of your support. A big shout out to our fellow entities:
Hoobs,
Ariel,
Tula,
Runarian,
Arkham Labs Cosplay,
Maddie,
Pepsi Woman,
Luna,
Teddysaurus,
Caspian,
Ryan the Giant 111,
J-Spot,
Ultrafail,
Dallin M,
Sleepy,
Joe Dragonlord 2,
Alistar,
Lawkeeper Society,
Ricky B,
Danny Phantom,
Catherine,
Faustskin,
Azuriel,
Panda Queen Plays,
Xylo Boy,
Lucas Iapetis,
Luna River.
Ruined Rivers. Thank you again for all your support.
And if you too would like to become a patron of the Eldritch Podblast, check the link below.